right, hello everybody. Thank you all for joining. It's really, really good to see everybody's faces. I know I'm interrupting football. We're interrupting football. I think Cowboys Seahawks are starting or have started. Um, if you would, uh, can you please, we'd love to see people's faces. I know there's quite a few people who have their not showing their video. If you're at a place where you're able to, be just great to see people's faces. This is already not as, we're not in person. So if we could at least see each other, that'd be great. If you're not able to, then that's fine. Why don't we go ahead and call this meeting to order? It's 4:01. And Chris, our Sergeant at Arms, if you can go ahead, please, and go ahead and do that. Are you there, Chris? You're going to go through rules of engagement for us?
All right, there we go. Sorry about that, guys. I was muted for a little bit. We're going to go ahead and call the meeting to order. It's 4:02. Just a couple of items to remember while we're doing this Zoom. Make sure your microphones are muted. I believe the host is going to mute everybody. To keep it moving along, let's make sure if we have any questions or comments, we use the chat. And minimize your distraction. I know football's going on. If you have it in the background, make sure that's muted also if you're given the floor to speak. Other than that, that's it. We'll go ahead and turn it back over to Diana.
Great. Thank you, Chris. Again, just, welcome to the first meeting of 2020 and 2021 season. It's a crazy season, crazy time out there. We know that there is just a lot going on, obviously with COVID, lots of different things happening. It's caused a lot of different things to be changing daily. And so we just are going to kind of go through some things, and I appreciate all of you for being here today. I'm excited to get the season started. Despite the consequences, I think we'll have a great season. And we'll talk a little bit more again, as I stated, about that after or later on as we go. I really do want to try to stay within this time frame, keep things on timed and on schedule. I realize there are a couple of things on the agenda that might need to have a little bit more time dedicated to them, and I'm going to talk about what we're going to do with those as we go through the agenda. So first off, this last year, 2019-20, we lost just some very just big contributors to our chapter members. And, we just wanted to take a moment to honor and remember them. And also for those officials who have lost a loved one, for those people that have sent me information or we had the information, we listed them in this as well. But I just really want us to take some time, be in the moment, and let's all watch this video together. Lots of just wonderful memories with these four officials. And so go ahead, Aaron, if you would. Should be some sound. I'm not sure why it's not playing. Just some really, really great officials and friends and human beings. And I know I have a lot of fond memories of each of them, and was blessed to be able to call a lot of games with them. And I know a lot of us were. So may they rest in peace. So and thank them, and we'll never forget them. That's for sure. Um, so let's go ahead and move on with the meeting. Um, So first off, I want to introduce board members, your board members, board of directors for this year. I went ahead and had a picture of, we have pictures of everybody. So if you don't know them in person or by sight, you can now see their faces. So we have Malachi Nellam, who's our past president. You have myself as president, Jesse Hall, vice president, Kenny Belafonte, state representative, Rebecca Finch, treasurer, Jean Straley, secretary, Chris Castillo, sergeant at arms. If you'd move the next one, please. And we have representing Division 1, the representative is Marshall Harris, and the alternate's David Harris. We also have our Division 2 rep, Aaron Galloway, and then representing Division 3, Rafael Belafonte is a representative, Supi Sepulveda is a alternate. And then Division 4, Enrique and Trey. Enrique is a representative, Trey's the alternate. And then, of course, for Division 5, we have Michael Halleck and Mario Reyes. Michael the rep and Mario the alternate. So, please always feel free to engage with our board members. They are constantly looking for, anytime they get questions, they always, are always willing and ready to provide feedback. I feel we have a real responsive and responsible group. So please always feel free, like you can contact them and ask them any questions. We are all here to serve you. It's not the other way around. So hold them accountable as well. And if there are issues and you're not getting in that information that you need, please feel free to let me know, and I'm happy to help as well. Moving on, our assignment team hasn't changed for this next coming year. So we have, obviously we have our assignment director, who is Marvin Cobb. We have Henry and Ben and Don Mosley, who are our assistant assignment directors. And then Marvin's going to talk a little bit about assignments and that sort of thing in just a bit. And then, of course, moving on, we have our rate committee. Again, just giving you faces to names. Mark Beers, our chair. Marvin Cobb is our assignment director, and also, again, on the rate committee. And then we have Charlie James, who served on that rate committee as well. And as you know, we have a new rate policy. We updated it. If you have not seen it for some reason, if you need a copy of it, please let us know. We're also revamping and working on the website, so we'll get those documents and stuff on there, the updated one, if it's not already on there, very soon. So, okay, so I also want to take a minute to welcome our first and second year officials. If this is, your first or second year with our chapter, we especially the second years, we appreciate you coming back. We know the first year is not easy. It's tough. So way to stick it out. We're proud of you. And it's only going to get better. So welcome. And we're glad to have you back. And we appreciate you joining our chapter once again. So thanks again. Moving on, we are going to go to the officer reports. So I'm going to turn it over to Jean. So Jean, you want to take over?
Yeah, just real quick. Current state paid members is 238. Chapter members is 129. So we got about 100 difference there. Just a reminder, the chapter dues go up October 1st to $40. And let's see, division assignments. If you have any questions about your divisions, what division number you're in, talk to your division rep first. Talk to them, explain to them information, whatever. And then if you still can't, still not justified, then please talk to me. And we'll rectify the situation. Remember, division assignments has nothing to do with type of basketball games you're assigned to. It's completely different. All it is your representative for your board member. That's it. Does anybody have any questions or comments?
Does anybody, if you have questions for Jean, please go ahead and type them in your chat, in the chat right now, and we can make sure we get those answered. And as Jean mentioned, you know, we have almost 100 members who have registered state but not local. Let's make sure we get those local dues taken care of. They're critical. So get those taken care of. And as he mentioned, they're going to go up in what, 3 days or something?
Yeah. Rule books will be talked to, I think, by Diana. She'll talk about them. Or Kenny.
Yeah. Yes. We'll talk about rule books in a minute. Martha asked, what are your minutes from the previous meeting? This is an extra meeting, general meeting. We added this. The minutes will be on the website, but we're actually going to include them on the agendas moving forward from the October 18th meeting on. So I hope that answers your question. Anybody else? But the minutes are on the website. If their last ones aren't on there, they will be on there. Yes, we will be posting them from February till now, Martha, yes. Very welcome. Anyone else, questions for Jean? Or myself? Okay. All right, moving on. We're gonna have a treasury report by Becca Finch.
Hi there. Okay, Erin, can you pull up the income statement for August? And again, these will be posted on the website as well. As some people may know, we are looking at a new website, and so things have been a little bit crazy trying to get all that kind of stuff taken care of. So this is the income statement for the month end of August 31st. As you can see, we had about $1,600 in dues come in. Operating expenses, most of them are normal. We had our $5 a month charge from Frost Bank. The computer software expense is for our SBOA Zoom account, which we will be using for committees, meetings, I believe maybe possibly some training. We've been using it for the board and things of that nature. The dues and subscriptions is the annual renewal of the PO box. The member gifts and trophies is the board voted and decided to assist a former member who was having some medical issues, Rick Goff, and we sent him a $100 donation from the chapter. Erin, can you pull up the Frost checking reconciliation? This is the savings account as of August 31st. I moved some of the money from the checking account into the savings account because we actually earn interest in there. So I figured if the money is just sitting there, we should probably go ahead and make some money on it. We do currently have $21,605.44 in savings. Do you have the checking, Erin? I believe we have about, that's savings. It's going to be a new, that's just a, yeah. Sorry, there are a lot of financial reports, guys. So these are the breakdowns of the transactions from the August. As you can see, all of the details are on there, and we do have receipts transactions for those as well. I believe, I don't see the Frost checking. I have it on my computer, but sorry, Erin. We currently have $8,877.50 in our checking account. Again, that money, we have money coming in daily from our dues. It is direct deposit from Arbiter on a daily basis. And then we do have a proposed budget for the 2021 season. Now, of course, with COVID, all of these numbers are approximated, and we also have estimated approximate scrimmage income. We kind of split the difference from previous years because we are not sure. Membership dues, I played it safe and used half of our actual, our previous year's members because we're not sure who is returning. So those numbers are going to fluctuate as the season does either advance or not advance. We were also unable to hold our camp, but we left it in the budget in case for some reason we are able to do some kind of in-person training or some kind of camp. So we did leave previous numbers in the budget for that. We also have our training expenses of approximately $2,000 because we are hoping to have some sort of training happen. And then we do have the rate budget of $2,500, which I broke out, per month at $500 a month for the season. Again, these numbers are all going to fluctuate. It all depends on what happens with COVID, but this is our tentative budget. Does anyone have any questions?
So anyone, no questions, or if you have a question for Becca on financials, you can go ahead and put that in chat now. We'll give it a minute.
Bob, only one scholarship was given out this past year, and it was the only one that we actually received an application for $500.
Okay, so a couple of things I'm seeing. Marvin, do you have an update on Rick Golf? Someone is asking.
No, I haven't talked to his wife in about a month. He's recovering well at home, but he's still struggling with speech a little bit, but I'll contact her and find out what else, if anything else is going on.
Thank you, sir. Okay, so Dwayne Schilling asked, anybody else have questions specific to financials? And then I'll answer these other chat questions.
Bob, as of now, there are no plans for the $20,000 in savings. We currently have that high of a balance. Well, part of it is we don't have people applying for the scholarships. And there have been other things in the past that have been budgeted for that haven't happened.
Like the camp is one. We would have had a lot of expenses for camp, correct? Already?
That is correct.
But yes, and Bob, thank you for asking that question though, because that is something that is going to be discussed at the next board meeting. Anyone else? Well, I see what you're saying, Bob. Bob's saying, we're nonprofit, we don't have to carry that much over. And actually nonprofits can have money and make money. So there's nothing wrong with that. So we are gonna look at some options. It's not considered high for a nonprofit of our size by any means. I mean, that's what I do. I work in nonprofit, a fundraiser for nonprofits. So I have a lot of experience with this. It actually looks good on our financials to have dollars, just because, our nonprofit doesn't mean we can't have money in the bank. I will tell you one of the things that we are considering doing, and we've talked about and we're working on, is possibly setting up a fund because of what's going on with COVID. We know there's a lot of officials that have been affected financially. We were going to be setting up a fund to help with some kind of emergency needs for our officials. I'm kind of in the process of getting that figured out. We're going to fundraise for it. We could look at allocating some of these funds for that. But that is one of the things that we were going to be looking at doing very soon. So that could possibly be something that we use these funds for. Okay. All right, so next question. I hope that answered the question, and we'll give you an update on that as we move through the next month. In regards to, Dwayne asked a question about an update for arbiter and security breach, and I believe there's a couple other officials asking. So I did contact arbiter directly to get more information. Essentially, as you should have received emails about that when they came out, we sent out emails. If you were affected by the attack of data or the virus on arbiter, you should have received a letter. I know I personally did receive a letter that was informing you that, data breach, and if you hadn't already, they had sent an email out saying change your password. And also they're offering, I believe it's a year of protection with Experian. So when you got your letter, you should have received that information about how to establish or start your account with Experian, who will monitor any issues regarding your information. They did not get credit card information. They did not get bank information from Arbiter Pay. That was not information that was breached. It was name, phone number, address, email, I believe, and social security number, which is, to me, social security number would be the one that's the most important. So I highly recommend, if you haven't changed your password, you need to do it immediately. And if you have not registered with Experian, please do so as soon as possible. Now, when I called Arbiter, I told them about the concerns and asked them how it could happen. They said they were in the middle of updating their systems, and somehow when that happened, they were able to get in and get the data. They have said they have upgraded all of their protections, and that there should not be a way for this to happen again. Yes, Dwayne, I did talk to, I mentioned to them that we may consider doing that. The problem is, I mean, we need to look at what other options are out there and what does that do regarding, since states using it and other things. So that's something we will consider it. And you're right, Arbiter, I mean, they have said, yes, they know they did it, but I mean, that's pretty, that it happened. They won't give me the details on what specific upgrades they've made to their security systems. They said they can't. But believe me, they do know that we are extremely upset and concerned about what happened. I did tell them that. I mean, I called them directly. So I understand people's frustrations. Again, I'm one of the people who was breached with data. But unfortunately, it's just the time we live in. These things happen, you upgrade the systems and they figure out how to get in those, and then you got to upgrade the systems again, they figure out how to get those. So we just have to kind of see where we go from here and hope that what they've put in place does not allow for this to happen again. Marco, I'm always open to, Marco Yell asked about how about using an assigning program. I mean, we never close the door on anything. We'll just have to kind of play it by ear and see. I'll never say just no, never. But as of right now, this is where we are with Arbiter. Any questions? Any other questions? Okay. We'll move on then. Kenny is going to give our state rep report.
Are you going to put up what I sent you, or just read what I just read it?
Just
read it.
Bullet points, and then you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. So the board decided. We had a meeting yesterday. The board decided that the $50 dues for brand new members that will remain the same throughout the year. So they won't get where we get that early fee. The new members will maintain that fee even after September 1. So they are attempting to get an online version from the NFHS on the books, but it will require that all chapters send email addresses and names to the NFHS. We're not sure yet if there's a cost involved, and so David Allen will be checking into that to see if there's a cost. If there's a cost, I doubt we're going to be doing it because we have books. We discussed, there was a lot of people asking questions about how easy the test was. And so there were some things that I didn't know and they didn't share, but I think that it was important once they shared and now it makes sense. So they used to get a test bank of 300 questions. Now that test bank is only 100, and Arbiter used to provide a test bank as well, because I think they had a THSBOA member on working with Arbiter as well. So now we're only down to 100 questions, and they felt like some of the questions was like they were a lot easier than what we saw this year. And so as well, and Arbiter would provide some questions as well. So, and they have to split that up between the 3 tests, and they have to make it, you know, user-friendly for a brand new official, you know, just through the different levels of officials. So knowing those kind of answers helped me to understand where they're coming from. We even talked about a question, like last year we had a question like, who is the THSBOA president? And we thought that was a silly question, but when I talked to the person who made the test, he wanted people to go to the website. So if you didn't know who that person was, you would have to go to the website to find it. So it made sense to try to pull people to do things that they would not otherwise do. We also discussed the COVID guidelines in the agenda, and we will talk about that later on in our agenda here. And then I will also send out just the description of what they sent me. I'll send that out to the entire chapter, or I'll give it to Diana, she can do it. We already know that there's been a $5 increase this year, so it starts this season. And lastly, if the season is canceled due to dues will roll over till next year. We haven't decided what constitutes a full year as of yet. I know we as a chapter discussed a 30-day time frame. So more to come on that. We plan to have an ad hoc committee in probably about a month or so to discuss what that would look like, what a full season looks like to THSBOA. If any questions in the chat.
Specific to what you just talked about, I don't believe so.
Nope.
I know there's still continuing chat about our signing software and possibly, you know, Dwayne's mentioning possibly Arbiter supplying refunds or pay a penalty. I'm not really sure what we could do about that, Dwayne. I just don't think there's any legal kind of, would it be the good, ethical, honest thing to do? Probably, but I just don't know how we can enforce that. Stephen did ask Kenny, our chapter dues rolling over, not state. And it is state, correct?
Yes, ma'am, state. If we don't have a season, if we don't have a full season.
But once we have game 1 of the season, do they roll over? Do they
So
not?
that we did, somehow we skipped over that on the agenda. And so I pointed that out to the president this morning, just a little while ago. And that's why we're going to have another meeting in a month to make that, you know, put a date to that.
Correct.
What constitute a full season. So more to come on that.
Thank you. For the chapter, it's if the season starts and if it ends within 30 days, then you won't get a refund, but your local dues will roll over to 2021, 22. If it lasts longer than 30 days, then we're done. So just, that's the difference. And so state's got to figure out what they're going to do, a time frame on it or not. But locally, we've decided that. Art, I understand Art's talking about paying online protection, that sort of thing. That's what the Experian 1-year deal is. That's an online protection services that they paid for. That's not something that we have to pay for. It's free if you were affected. Any other questions for Kenny? And Kenny, don't go too far. We're about to go back to COVID stuff. All right, we can go ahead and switch the thing there. All right, so moving on, rule books. They are in. We're gonna have rule book pickup. Obviously, things are a little different, so we're gonna try to make it as easy as possible for everybody. So on this Thursday, October 1st, we'll have a list of all the paid members, and we are going to be at 3 locations. Gene will be at Bubba's on 410. I'm sorry. Kenny will be at Bubba's on 410 and Military. The address is right there, 7518 Northwest Suite 410. And Gene is going to be at Bubba's at 1604 and I-35. And I'm going to be at Crossroads Mall there, kind of at the corner of Fredericksburg and 410 on Thursday between 5 and 7 p.m. All right. So you guys who've paid your dues, go pick up your books. We'll also give a few to Marvin to have, but let's not overwhelm him and have him drive all over town delivering. He's not a delivery service. So let's make a point to go to one of those 3 locations. We feel like they're pretty spread out throughout the city. So let's try to go and get those. If you can't make it on that date, but please, only if you legitimately cannot make it, send me an email. We'll figure something out, okay? And we'll probably do another one in the next week or so, something like that, on a Saturday. The books it's the rule and case book, correct, Kenny? Yeah, so it's both rule and case book, Mario. Bob's asking if Factory of Champions could be a site. Mark Veer's raising his hand. Mark, can you unmute him, Aaron? Or text it in, actually, Mark. Chat it in.
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, there you go. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, so Kenny actually left some boxes at the factory. So you can go anytime this Monday through Friday between 4 and 8 p.m. or even 4 and 9 p.m. I've told my staff up front, the 2 boxes are there. If any referees come by, to give them 1 green book and 1 red book. So that's a central location. So you guys are more than welcome to stop at any time between 4 and 9, Monday through Friday this week.
Maybe not.
Why?
So, because we don't have the full number of books, because we don't know what COVID's going to do. So they didn't send us our full complement. So I don't want the books just going anywhere to people who haven't paid, those kind of things. That's why we want Gene to have it. Myself and Marvin will have it, and we will get people the books. If you have your books from last year, there are not a lot of changes. There are no rule changes in there. There are kind of points of emphasis has changed, like doing the signals correctly, something we've been doing for the last 20 years, talking about, and longer. So I'd rather not do it that way, because we have to limit and get the books to the people who've paid their dues first.
True. I mean, we don't want to run out and not give somebody who's actually paid their dues and they don't end up getting a book. So that's a good point. But I appreciate it, Mark. Thank you. And I didn't think about that. That's my fault. So thank you. Anyone else questions in regards to rule book pickup?
Well, can you send me a list of who's paid?
No, Mark, I'd prefer to do it the way I just said to do it.
Okay, so why do I got the books at the factory then?
So Gene can pick them up.
Gene's gonna pick them up. Gotcha.
Yes.
Hey, Mark and Kenny, let's talk about this offline and we can just get moving on. Okay. Thanks, Mark. Thanks, Kenny. Okay. Moving on, if no other questions about the rule books. All right, so we're going to be sending out some information regarding safety. I know a lot of people have questions regarding safety with COVID, and while we have a lot of things in mind, we had a lot of things in mind and things we were thinking of doing. We wanted to make sure we waited for their meeting yesterday to make sure we were along the same lines as what the state's looking at us for us to do. We will send out things. Kenny's going to go through some things that they discussed, but we'll send out some things in writing, so that everybody has that. So appreciate it. Go ahead, Kenny. Hold on, you're muted, Kenny. Hold on. There you go.
Okay, so there's only a couple things that impact us as referees on the floor. One is that they would prefer that we come dressed, and And I figured Marvin and Diana will talk to the ADs to see what this is in the UIL plan. So they have to do the minimum, right? As a UIL, but that doesn't mean that the district can't do more. They can't do less than the standard, but they can do more. So we need to find out from each district what's going to be made available as far as locker rooms, because again, they're talking the issue is sanitizing places, right? So if you can come to your games dressed, there will be no longer pregame with the captains. We will pregame with the coaches, and that will be the conference should be about an hour to an hour and a half before schedule changes. For some people, that might be a little difficult, right? But let's try to, if we can, make sure that we're there 45 minutes to an hour, and then we can just meet with the coaches really quick. The ball should be cleaned and sanitized throughout the contest as recommended by the ball manufacturer. And again, these are from the UIL. So also what they talked about is during timeouts, having your mask and having your mask on during timeouts, and if you approach the table. All non-players and coaches should have their mask on, but again, not for us to, not for us. We'll just let the administrator know if there's a problem there. If you see any other problems that you think things aren't being practiced safely, just get in contact with Diana, who will then communicate that to the ADs. And also, yes, I think Becky made a good point. I just saw it roll across my screen. When you're talking to a coach, like if you have to discuss something with a coach that's going to take a minute or so, go ahead and put your mask on, or keep the distance if they have their mask on. But I'm thinking this is going to cause a lot less discussion.
Hey, Reggie, question that several officials have asked. I mean, yeah, Kenny, so question people have asked is, who's responsible for cleaning the balls throughout the game? Is it us?
That's up to the district.
Up to the district.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Will they have several balls and they
didn't, it's not specified here in the, I'm going to send everybody a copy of this, and it's not specified in the, the listing.
And also Bob Hawk is asking, is it okay for officials to wear a mask throughout the game if they choose to?
Oh yeah, definitely. And they have coverings if you want to use coverings. If you can run with a mask, good luck, and but feel free to do that.
And so people should be wearing their masks in their pockets of their pants to put on when they need to, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Johnny Lowry, who works tables, works the clock and book for NISD, just put on there just for everybody that plexiglass is being installed at each of the varsity sites at the tables.